But let's quickly talk some aviation. You know, I told you it's going to be on two sides today. Some aviation matters. The International Air Transport says air travel in Nigeria and other African countries grew by 34.7% in February. Look at it like the resilience of this market despite all of this, and the shocks of aviation fuel scarcity and pricing gulping almost 40% of operational cost. This remains a challenge. How do you see these airlines sustaining all of this, looking at the times that we are in?
Yes, first thing is I think it's I think that there's the increase in the increase in rates, so the first thing is that even though I quite agree that the scarcity of aviation fuel and increasing prices has badly impacted airlines, but on the upside is that flights have increased significantly, and that is largely attributable to lifting of COVID-related travel bans. So a lot more people are able to travel. That in a way has tried to reduce the negative impact of scarcity of fuel and all that. So it's not entirely gloom. I mean, there's a bit of soft at that time, and it's largely driven by lifting the COVID travel bans. But even though there's been a lot of improvement, but again, when you check the numbers prior to the pandemic, the rates have not. We're not yet back at pre-pandemic levels, to be honest. Significantly right from last year, the numbers have been growing, but yet to be back to pre-pandemic levels. And what I see looks like in a matter of weeks or probably months, we'll be back to that level. The COVID rate is in one whole day across Nigeria. That's a significantly low number that we can deal with and manage, and the airlines can do in the short term, because you've got to power your aircraft to be able to do a business. But from a long-term perspective, I would imagine that airlines begin to think about alternative fuels that are not subject to scarcity issues, especially if we can control the supply locally. There are a couple of sustainable alternative fuels out there that are cheaper and they are more efficient. They have low burn rates. What that means is that they're likely to be more available and they're likely to be a lot cheaper, which makes life easier for those airlines. But that's not something you can do in the short term. It's not something you can do in 1 year, 2 years. It's that will mean changing your fleets. And that's significant investments are going to happen shortly. So in the short term, we'll be able to pass a bit of the extra burden to customers and find a way of dealing with this up until where you can achieve those long-term gains. Yes, so together this is probably to find ways of encouraging travel within Africa. It doesn't seem that there's a lot of travel within Africa, within Nigeria. And so if that happens, maybe you're going to have a lot more turnover from that. And on the other side too, traveling is slightly tied to business. When business is good, when the economy is buoyant, people are likely to travel to conferences, to travel to close business deals. So, and it's a natural trend. So when then the economy grows well, we expect that the travel industry will also grow alongside. So, my few thoughts on what I think about the recent statistics you talked about in the aviation space.
All right, let's do this in 1 minute. The strategic partnership between Emirates to establish a Nigerian air project. What do you make of that, especially from the perspective of investment base, bidders options, the timing, and government intervention in all of this?
Okay, so I think Emirates have thrown an open offer. We recall a few weeks ago, the Nigerian government released an RFP for international airlines to seek to partner with the Nigerian government to set up the Nigeria Air, our national carrier, and so the process is ongoing. And so you will expect that the applicants submit the applications from now. So what Emirates has done, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, to say that I want to also bid. I think it's a way of getting some form of buying from the Nigerian government. So they'll still have to submit the bid, to be honest, to to be able to be considered for that. So the first bit I'll talk about is that I expect that the Nigerian government learns from the failed launch of Nigeria a few years ago. I think that was in 2020. It's important to learn what we did not do right at that point so that we don't repeat the mistakes this time around. Maybe just for information purpose, the FG is only supposed to own 5% of Nigerian Air. 40% is supposed to be owned by Nigerian institutional investors and other investors, and 49% will be held by the international airlines. So in this case, I mean, if Emirates is successful, Emirates is going to own 49%, while the remainder 51% will be concept locally, split between 46 and 5 between the government and regular NGOs, probably like you and I. So that's the plan. So I hope we're going to learn from that. I heard that a lot have been invested in consultancy because towards the end of last year. The equity stake for the FG is already in the budget. So you expect that it sees the light of the all things being equal, all things going well. Emirates has said that Nigeria is a huge market for them, interested to come into this piece. So for me, it's whether it's Emirates or whether it's anybody else, as long as that entity has the capacity to deliver and meet the expectations or even exceed the expectations of the federal government, it's fine. So they've said that by June 2020, they expect that the winner of the bid gets the necessary license to be able to set up operation. So they have not set up operation will start in June, but they've said that those licenses will be issued in June. And after you have a license, the next thing is to maybe make up your fleet and start doing business.
All right, Amos. Thank you so much for your time. Brilliant submissions. I've been speaking to Najim Yusuf. He is the Senior Manager, Tax and Regulatory at Deloitte. Thank you and do enjoy your weekend.
And you too, have a good weekend.
All right then.